And whatsoever is the matter with you? And the little girl says, Edna, you know, being from Boston, has changed her face, and I do not care for it. Boy who came to church school, and he'd say wonderful prayers, and this was his prayer. This was terrific. He says, thank you, God, for the moon that you made. Thank you, God, for the sun that you made. Thank you, God, for all the planets that you made, and thank you, God, for all the worlds that you made, such as Italy. What?
About 5 or 6 months prior to convention, the local leagues are asked to decide within their own groups what they feel the league should be studying or just what direction it should be taken. And these are all sent into the national office from all across the country, so that we have this grassroots idea, which is so important to our organization.
We're sitting right on the grassroots.
We sure are. And
this is Mona Obi. Anything else that you want to tell us?
No, I think that's it. I think we pretty well got everything together. Anybody can...
Nursery. So that would be 4 or that'd be 5? 4. And kindergarten's 5, right? Yeah. And so she said to me, folks, she says, I'll be so glad when I get to kindergarten. She says, those songs that we're singing in nursery school are so babyish. We went out shopping, Sue, and she saw this, and she said that, and she said to the clerk, she said, she had this little money bag, and she said to the clerk, she says, how much is that? And the clerk says, that's 59 cents. And she said, I know, but how many dimes and how many nickels is that? And she saw something out that caught her eye, you know, and she said to the clerk, she says, how much is this? And the clerk says, that's $1.69. And she said, things are so expensive in this store. So she had a real problem. And, you know, I could see now why we talk so much, you know, why women talk so much. When you have a problem on your mind, you keep talking, you think, you know, maybe somebody's going to come up with a solution for you. That's why we keep talking so much, really. And so she kept talking about this problem. She says, my mother wants me to go across the street and see if I can find Fluff. Well, you see, what her mother wanted to do is go to all the doors, knocks on the doors, and say, have you seen Fluff? You know, their dog. And she really didn't want to do it. And she says, do you think I should do what my mother asked me to do? Well, I wasn't going to get in the middle of that, right? And so she kept talking and talking and talking, and finally she says, well, I can't do it. She says, besides, I don't know where across the street is. And I was washing the car in the meantime, girls, and she said, your car is beautiful. She says, did you get it furnished? So she had these 2 little purses. They were cute little purses, no bigger than this. And I says, Kit, what do you have in your little purses? And she says, well, here I have my stamp collection. And she took out maybe 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 postage stamps that she had. And then over in the other purse, she had this allowance that she was so anxious to spend. And she says, and this is my money collection. So she was telling me that for her birthday, she wanted a stamp album. And I thought to myself, gee, that'd be keen. Maybe I could get her a stamp album for her birthday. So I thought, you know, it would be next week or something. I said, Kit, when is your birthday? And she said, 10 months. And Robert, their little friend across in another apartment, in Victoria, came out of the apartment, and Victoria says, Kit, he'll do it for you if you give him 25 cents. And Kit was going off up to her apartment, and she called back over her shoulder. She says, I can't, I'm broke. And so she told me, you know, how she got all this money, you know, in her money collection. And she says, you know, the good fairy, when I lose a tooth, the good fairy puts money under my pillow. And she was saying, for this tooth, I got 25 cents. And she says, for this tooth, I got 50 cents. And for this tooth, I got 10 cents. She says, but those molars, you don't get a penny for those. Fluff was on the chain, and I thought, gee, Kit, it'd be nice if you'd take Fluff for a walk. And she says, well, I can't. And I says, gee, Kit, you could take Fluff for a walk. And she says, no, you take Fluff for a walk. And I says, Kit, you really could do it. And she says, no. She says, we're moving tomorrow, and I have to save my energy. Well, in truth, girls, they did move, and I really missed them. And I went up to see them later on, I guess about a couple months after they'd moved. And I went in, I saw the cat, and I saw Kit, and I saw Angel, and I saw the mother. And we were talking away, and when Kit got the opportunity, she sidled up to me, and she says, Glendora, Fluff is a grown-up now. I was talking to this woman who was doing, what do they have these teachers' helpers, do they, in school? What do they call them, teacher aides? Yeah, teacher aides. And they had 45 children in one schoolroom. Fantastic. So anyway, I says, how did you like it? And she says, oh, I liked it very much. She says, all except the first day that it rained, and all of the boys wore yellow slickers. You know, yeah. So, I mean, you know, like it's time to go home, you know, which slicker is yours? No names on them, you know, they all look alike. Right. I was taking this course, folks, and I had a problem, and I couldn't figure it out, so I asked the professor, you know, to explain it to me, and he was sitting down, I was standing up, and as he was explaining to this, a piece of hair fell off of my shoulder, and fell right where he was talking, you know, and I was so embarrassed, you know. And so he stopped everything, you know, and he says, do you know why that hair has the shape that it does? And what he was trying to get across to me was that it had the shape that it did because of the protein molecules that was in it, because some professor had been there lecturing on protein molecules. And I didn't know this, you know, I was too dumb to know this. And I didn't say anything because I didn't know what to say. And he says, do you know why that hair has the shape that it does? And I got so nervous, I said, well, yes, I did it up last night. Suzanne Boulay, she was just over to Colonial Cable with me. She saw a picture of Bob Hope. That was Bob Hope's wife who was in the
Right.
Yeah. And she made a very good remark, I thought. It was a press conference, and one of the people asked her, how many children do you have, Mrs. Hope? And she said, we have 4. She says, 3 are married, but the 4th one is able to take care of himself. This friend I have has 3 or 4 cats, and the children in the neighborhood, you know, just love to come over and see the cats. They just come in and say, can I see the cats? And so this boy who'd been in several times brought in a new friend. And Nancy says, the new friend was looking at one cat, and Nancy says, wait a second, I'll go get Susie. And so she went out of the dining room, she got Susie, and then she says, wait, I'll go get Sam. She went out and she got Sam, and she says, now would you like to see Jack? She went out and she got, and as she was on her way out to the kitchen, the new little boy said to the usual little boy who came for visits, how much cats has she? And the new little boy said a kind of a cute little thing, Nancy likes to paint. And so she was there painting, you know, at her easel. And the new little boy says, my father paints. And Nancy says, really, does he? What does he paint? And the little boy says, oh, he paints all sorts of abstract things like people. And I'd like to have you... Hi there, folks. This is Chat with Glendora, Colonial Cablevision Channel 12. And this is Barbara Del Signori. Hi, Barb.
Hi, Glendora. It's so nice to be here.
Oh, it's good to see you. Don't move away from us,
No,
Barbie.
I won't.
What can you tell us about your interesting work?
Well, first of all, what I'd like to talk about mainly today is the School of Careers. I think most people realize that I own the local modeling agency in Glens Falls, which is located also in Saratoga and Schenectady. But we have a lot of young women who feel it's about time they needed a change in their life, what I call a new lease on life. So they call, how can I enroll in the school? Do you have an age barrier? We don't. I mean, age is, shouldn't be an obstruction. Here, anybody and everybody should be included. I don't think that it's too late for anybody to start to have to worry about, gee, am I over the hill? Should I, you know, start right now making improvements? You can start at any age. I think it's necessary.
Over the hill is better than under the hill, Barb.
Right. Okay, a certain height, and they learn their bone structure, which is small, medium, or large. They then realize that there is a certain weight you should be within, and allowing yourself one way or the other to fluctuate a few extra pounds. With having this goal in mind, if they should be over that, they have something to work toward, and that's what they will be doing. But they also learn that when they go into a store, they don't always have to depend solely on the sales clerk that's there. Because when you walk into a store...
Or isn't there?
Right, or isn't there. And that's true. That is very true. You have to learn how to take care of yourself. Because how many times have you walked in and someone is following you around? This can be a little bit annoying. There are other people may like what you have on or you've been trying on. So it's very easy for somebody else to say, you know, that really does look good. And then the maybe 2 or 3 of the sales girls will chime in. And you know, I'm not pointing a finger at a sales clerk. I've been was a sales clerk for a long time. I'm saying this is human nature. I'm saying it does happen, and I'm not putting sales clerks down. I'm just saying if you know yourself and you know what you can wear, you can depend on your own judgment, and you can feel very self-assured that when you did make that purchase, that was not money wasted. It is not even time wasted, because if you have been talked into it, which can happen many times, and you go home and all of a sudden your husband, well, you know, he's the one you have to please, or a boyfriend or whatever will say, gee, that doesn't look like it to us. You can add a scarf, put a piece of jewelry with it. When you take it off, you know it's simple. It's a little bit more ruddy. They determine how to select this, the form. And when they have done this, it will then determine the hairstyles that they're either limited or unlimited with. Now, the only perfect shaped face is oval. And the only one that is closest to that after that is the heart shape. And here you, with both shaped faces, you really don't have a problem as far as how many hairstyles or what hairstyle you would like to wear. So the object of all the others, whether it's square or round or whatever it might be.
Mine is question mark.
No, I would say you have pretty much, let's see, an oblong. Yes, you have pretty much an oblong face. Now,
That's because I haven't slept.
Now, with something like that, if you're trying to achieve the oval look, you can do this by certain hairstyles and balancing all. So that was the only thing we have made a change in this year. For the sake of a lot of people, you know, as well as myself.
Oh, surely, right.
Right. But I think it's educational, it's promising, it's perfect for anybody who cares about themselves or what their future might hold.
Yeah. It gives you a lot of confidence.
Yes, I think that for the gal who lacks confidence, this is probably the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Because as females, you have to remember, as females, we all together go through all the same problems.
You go on welfare.
You know, no matter what's your career.
Supplemental security income under Social Security office. I was saying that our people, rural people, are too proud to go on welfare. So
This is in Hamilton County, folks.
So I've never been able to get them to accept a public assistance check, but I was able to get them to sign up for the supplemental security income, as being their average Social Security is $80 a month.
I see.
Because there's no stigma attached to it. It's not administered by the welfare department.
I see.
This makes quite a difference.
Oh, yeah.
The welfare department seems to have a stigma attached, and
Yeah.
and people are just too proud to ask for help.
Not me. I see. And so, but you can get them to take this SSI check.
Yes, because it's administered by the Social Security office. It's a federal program. You do not have to be questioned. Once you're on, you're on. You don't have to be recertified every 3 months. You don't have to bring in all your receipts. It goes strictly by your income. You are...
Of course, as you say, is in great shape. We haven't had any real rain around here in about 3 weeks. Can you recognize which group this is coming in, Bud?
Yes, this is Jack Wilson and Bill Toon of Wilmington, Delaware, and this John Hallett and his guest, Bill Prescott, also Wilmington, Delaware, I believe.
Well, Bill Toon, of course, is well known in the area, having been a resident here for a number of years, and a very avid golfer.
Right.
Very good golfer, too.
Excellent golfer.
And Bill Prescott is now living where?
I believe in Wilmington. Used to be with the Hercules Company here.
I see. Is this John Hallett coming in?
That's John Hallett hitting up.
Four of the very finest golfers at the country club.
Bill Toon plays out of the Wilmington Country Club.
Well, he'd be down there with Ray Clark and Bill Nickel and some of the other
That's right.
local lads, eh? I think Bill Toon has put on a little weight.
He's out of tune?
Off to the right. And Ernie with the hat on. Ernie Higgins, Dr. Ernest Higgins.
Tuesday and Thursday nights here at the Queensberry Field at 6:30 sharp.
Would you explain to her, Joe, some of the player positions that we're looking for where we have openings?
Well, we're looking primarily right now at some running backs. We've been depleted in our running back corps through injuries. And right now we are looking for running backs, and we need some running backs. And we would be very interested in anybody who would like to come out to give it a shot. We're also looking for some deep secondary men to play the defense. We have been again hit here with injuries, and we could use some help in this particular position.
I'm a running back. I had to run back twice tonight, Joe, for stuff I forgot.
They're practicing the junior band and the bigger team, and they're our oldest team. We started with the junior band from 6 years ago. This is our 6th year. The head coach down there of the Saints is Jack Daly from Glens Falls. And while you can't see him because behind Brent Hill's bench, our other team in green and white is the smallest team, a junior midget team, and their head coach is Ken Veely from South Glens Falls. They're all assisted by several coaches.
I'll tell you what, I know there's a plank.
Gee, it's a good thing those guys are bow-legged. We couldn't see what was going on.
Well, there's a boy down. He probably had the wind knocked out of him. And they're looking at his eyes just for a quick check.
25,000 students are registered. There's an uncertainty as to how many are students, but anyways, 25,000 people registered. And you girls, you will go from building to building on that campus, and I did this for 8 weeks, and I never saw a face that I'd ever seen before, other than right in the classroom. That's how it is. And now finally, on the 9th week, I saw somebody I recognized, and I was so pleased. It was a dog. A black dog with a brown face, and there's a little beagle who lives on Winspear, and he goes off to the campus every morning. Around 8:30 every morning, that dog goes to campus, and he comes back every afternoon at precisely 3:30, and he's all tired out, and he walks home like this, He's so tired out, and I know the way he walks, he's a professor. I have a PhD friend. He always uses the expression, keep the courage flaming. It really appeals to me. So I caught right onto it, and wherever I go, I'd say to somebody, keep the courage flaming. And so I was having a telephone conversation with a girl, a woman, and she said, we were talking. It was a really good conversation, and I wanted to end it cheerfully. I was going to say, keep the courage flaming, when all of a sudden, I fortunately remembered to whom I was speaking. She was the president of a women's auxiliary for a volunteer fire company. Did you remember a couple years ago Bob Hope was here, and he got a degree for a humanitarian, Doctor of Humanitarian Letters? Do you remember that? Well, we were out there to see him, and somebody asked him about sending him a tape. And the person wanted to make sure that Bob Hope would get it, because he gets so much mail. And this man was following him. And the person says, where will I send the tape, to make sure you get it? And Bob Hope says, well, send it to him. And he pointed to this man over his shoulder. And he says, his name's Bill Faith. Well, it struck me so funny, Here's Hope getting a degree for charity followed by faith. Dora Richardson, she's on Channel 4. Is she still on Channel 4? I haven't been in the city for a while. On Dora Richardson on Identity, Channel 4, Saturday afternoon. Well, you see, this is a really good one. She had seen this hat down in one of our expensive stores downtown. She wanted that hat so much. It was just before Easter, but it really was a steep price. So she washed that hat and washed that hat, you know, in the window, and it wasn't sold Saturday night before Easter. Well, she was delighted, because Monday morning she was right down there the first thing, and she got that hat, and she put it on her head, you know, and it looked so good. It was just the hat she wanted, and it was 1/3 off. And so, and as she's putting on this hat, she sees another hat, you know, sitting there on the counter. So she took off the first hat, and she put on this first hat, and a woman came along, and the woman was fascinated by Dora, and Dora's quite tall. And so Dora says, "You like this hat?" And the woman says, "I love that hat." And Dora says, "I think this is a wonderful hat." And the woman says, "That's my hat." What you can think of, Sally?
Well, there is one thing I would like to add, and that's that if you do happen to leave the area, there's never any problem. International sends your name on to the city where you're going, and probably the first phone call you get when your phone is installed is from a sister.
Isn't that keen?
We like to say you have instant friends. That's right.
So you see, once you get into this group, you can't get out of it.
Right.
Right. Let's see now, Carolee. Is it Carolee? Coral.
Right.
Yeah, come on over, Carolee. Right. Yeah, right. There you are, hon. Can't you put in a good word for this great group?
It's a terrific group,
Really?
really. Yeah. And I might add, when Sally was talking about transfers, she transferred from the Philippines. So
She did?
all over the world, not just in the United States.
Right. It's neat. So it truly is an international organization. You were down at the end of the road there, and you were, how fast were these girls going by when you flagged them down?
They weren't going too fast. I think they were kind of looking. Right.
We had just headed home to call Carol to find out where we were supposed to be.
Now, you ladies who've gone through the line, have you had any afterthoughts, anybody? Anything you'd like to say? Come right over, Evelyn, then. Evelyn says, "I have an afterthought," and then she said to her sister, "Go tell them about it."
This is Bunny's idea.
Oh, it's Bunny's idea. All right.
I forgot to tell you that we do have a scholarship.
Oh, good. Then would you come over and stand to my good? That way you'll be facing the folks. Yeah, tell us about the scholarship.
We do have a scholarship. Every year we alternate Bangor High School, Brewer High School, and John Baptist High School.
Neat. And how do people apply for this?
Oh, yes, we have a mitten bank, too, Bunny says.
A mitten bank?
It's for the fine arts, I think. It's chosen at the school. Someone that qualifies, that needs the help and so forth.
I'm a poor graduate student in physics. Could you help me out?
I think so. What high school?
We're getting hold it, folks. We're getting a hot word here from Peggy Youngblood. What was it, Peggy, we should talk about?
Well, all I was interested in was notifying people that Beta Sigma Phi is very much interested in joining with other community efforts toward making Bangor and Brewer a better place to live. For instance, we would love to see a winter carnival in this area, and so would so many other organizations.
Yeah, you can make Bangor and Brewer a much better place to live. I'll just move out.
Well, that's a start, but there are a few other problems. I think people who move in here would like to see more community activities and more organizations that they could join.
Sure they would, right. Anybody? Yeah, here comes our esteemed president right over here on the T-square.
The thing I wanted to bring out was our main state convention this year is going to be in Bangor.
Neat.
June 8th, 9th, and 10th at Husson College.
All those drunken women are coming into Bangor.
And our theme is Happiness is Making Friends.
Nice. Very nice. That's good. These are the afterthoughts, I think, are better than the main thoughts. Anybody else have anything? Our Philippines member, won't you come back and tell us how you happen to come to Bangor from the Philippines?
My husband retired from the service, and we came to Bangor to live.
You decided to stay with him, right? You decided to come with him.
Right.
Right. And he was in what?
He was in the Air Force.
In the Air Force, right. How do you like it up here? Nice.
We love it.
Yeah.
We spent 15 years in the tropics.
Oh, boy.
And so it's been a really pleasant change. I think I'm the only person in Bangor that prays for snow.
Well, sure. Sure, now we know who it is. Well, that's grand. This has been Beta Sigma Phi International Sorority. And if anybody else have anything you'd like to say? Well, this is your last chance. All right. Well, we really enjoyed being with you this morning, and thanks so much, girls, for coming. You gave us a grand program. Bye, everyone. Be as nice as you can to everybody. What's your favorite? It's gymnastics and games. Could you just give us an idea of what it consists of?
Well, some days we would have in gym tumbling exercises like that.
That's what you have at recess in school, isn't it?
Well, something like that. And other days we might play a game like bombardment or
Oh, yeah, right.
kickball.
Yeah, right. Bombardment is what you do on the way to the cafeteria, I hear. And what do you do in the pool?
In the pool, first we have a period of lessons, and after that we have a little while to play in the pool or practice what we just learned.
Oh, yeah, and you like it a lot, right?
Yes.
And who's your teacher down there?
The pool director is Betty Solanzolo.
Oh, yeah. And would you recommend to the boys who are your age to come down and take part in that?
Well, I think if they really were interested in swimming and gymnastics, they could come down. And if they don't have to be too strong in the water because the wire will build them up.
Oh, good. So they could just come down after school any night, dear, Andre?
Well, they'd have to come down first and sign up with Bill.
What day?
They could come down any day, and Bill would put them in their age level group.
Oh, and that's how it goes?
Yes.
Andre Cushing, I think you're going to grow up to be a Bill Bennett yourself. You like the Y so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And now we have handsome Kevin Wright. Hi, Kevin. Tell the folks about your particular interest at the Y.
Well, it's gymnastics.
And you go right ahead.
Right. It's a group of boys that form a team, and they have to have a certain amount of skill and ability for gymnastics. It takes an awful lot of practice and time to get good.
It does, really?
Right.
Like how many hours, maybe a day?
Geez, at least 1 or 2. If they have a lot of time, it would be 6 to really get good.
And you and this could maybe lead to the Olympics, right?
Yes, I think we have about 3 possibilities for the Olympics.
You do, really? Mm-hmm. And would you like to get into this type of work?
Yeah.
When you grow up? Yeah, and in what way? In a Y or in a college? Or?
I'd like to get a scholarship into college and go to the Olympics, and then try to work out some kind of coaching for gymnastics.
I bet you'd be very good at it, Kevin. In gymnastics, that would be your field, right?
Right.
Yeah. And you have a horse down there and ropes and all
Well,
those?
we have a piece of apparatus, which is the side horse, the high bar, the rings, trampoline. We also use the mats for tumbling and floor exercises, but that isn't a piece of apparatus, but it is used.
Yeah. It's a good thing you don't use your baby sister for the trampoline, right? Thanks a lot, Kevin, right? And now we have Ted Taylor, folks. Handsome Ted Taylor with the blonde hair and the brown eyes. Ted, tell the folks your interest at the Y.
Well, I'm the vice president of the Leaders Club.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, and we help the teachers at the Y with their kids. We ref games or tell them how to do an exercise or two.
To serve the people, if they are interested in receiving either a high school diploma or an equivalency of that, please see us. It's free.
It is?
It is free. Yeah. For Bangor residents or non-residents. The only charge that we have for registration is for the avocational programs. And this second term, we'll be starting one for gymnastics for women. This should be interesting.
I think he's getting through to me.
And this will be offered on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It'll be an hour each evening. And I think it should be interesting. Charlotte Haskell will be the instructor.
Oh, yeah.
And it should be a good program.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Meet some of the prestigious members of the McAlpine Couples Club. And first of all, we'd like to know if Helen McInnes would come forward. Helen? Hi, Helen. Helen has just returned, right up here, Helen. Helen has just returned from touring England, in Scotland, and Germany. Tell us about some of your nice experiences.
Well, we had a grand time. One of the first problems we had was when my husband tried to drive. And if any of you have ever driven a car in Britain, it's a new experience. The roads are about yay wide. You drive on the wrong side of the street. The driver sits over on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Yeah, the right-hand side.
Right, and then he's over in the left lane.
Right.
Yeah, right. That's the way the women drivers do here, right?
Right. Wasn't too bad.
Well, it was fun. Thank you for calling, Glendora.
Anytime.
Bye.